guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be doing a little 2-in-1. I'm going to be doing my July wrap-up alongside my physical TBR just to show you guys what's on there, because for the month of July I did not read a lot of books, so might as well add in a little bonus for you guys. In the month of July I read a total of 4 books. You heard that right, yeah, 4 books. It's not terrible. I at least read 1 book, which is not bad, but comparing this month to last month, this is devastating by a landslide. But anyways, one of them was fiction and the other 3 were romances, rom-coms. What can I say? I'm a rom-com girly. The first book that I read in the month of July was The Hotel Nantucket by Elin Hilderbrand. I've never read any of her works until now. I've always seen them in passing. If you don't know, The Hotel Nantucket, this author has like a whole Nantucket series, so there's definitely more to Nantucket than I thought, which is really exciting. This book follows the reopening and rebranding of a hotel called the Hotel Nantucket. The lore of this hotel dates back to like the 1920s, where a tragic fire broke out and everyone working at the hotel and everyone staying at the hotel managed to escape except one person, and that was like the chambermaid. Ever since that incident, no one has really made the effort to renovate it or bring it back to life, and over the years it's just kind of been like an abandoned landmark. Until 100 years later, where this billionaire named Xavier Darling decides to buy it and renovate it, make it the most luxurious thing ever, in an attempt to wash the hotel of its like bad associations. The first character you are introduced to is Elizabeth Keaton, or Elizabeth, and she is the general manager. You get to follow Elizabeth, what it's like to be a general manager and the hiring process of her finding people to fill in some slots at the hotel. And you get to learn a lot about the characters and get to know their secrets, you know, figure out what they're hiding. And another thing to keep in mind is that everyone you're introduced to, especially the staff at the Hotel Nantucket, is there for a reason, and it's great. I remember there's like one character in this book that I think is a complete genius. So if you read this book, it's definitely so fun. So my thoughts about this book. I read this book for a video and I started it and then I was like, my brain is not retaining this information, so I had to put it down for a couple of days. And then the second time I picked it up is when you guys saw it in the vlog. So yeah, kind of lied. But yeah, the second time I read this, I was just kind of not really feeling the story. I didn't really connect to the people in the story. But since this is a character-driven book, I'm not sure if I mentioned that. Without realizing it, you end up falling in love with the character. And as I was like reaching the end of the book, I was like, damn, I don't want this story to end. I want there to be a sequel. Like, it was just so fun, and I don't exactly know when the switch happened, when I, you know, started actually caring about these characters, but it happened so subtly. There are a lot of people, I'm mostly talking about the staff, that are there for different reasons, and I like how you get to uncover that as you read. If you love drama, if you love entertainment, this book is for you. You just get snippets of each of the characters' lives. There's so many characters. So much so that I had to make a little list of all the characters that are mentioned pretty frequently in this book. I think I rated this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars because, well, I loved it so much. I would definitely recommend if you love fiction, if you love character-driven books, or if you want to try something new. I did get to tab a lot in here. I definitely will be reading more from the Nantucket series because, well, if it's this good, it only goes up from here, I feel like. So the next book on the list is Water Under the Bridge by Kels and Denise Stone. So this book follows Avery and Luca. Avery is very passionate for her job, and she's always wanted to work for ORO, which is Oceanic Research Organization, which is like the company in this book. She's always wanted to work for this company. She's idolized the CEO, Joanna, and when she finally gets a chance to get a job interview, she does really well, but the CEO doesn't really think so. So Avery leaves the building kind of bummed out, but she soon finds a job with another company afterwards. There is this gala that is held for, I think, companies with the same goal. The person holding the gala decides to have all the companies compete for a multi-million-dollar prize, and whatever company wins gets to use that money for the research. So obviously, with Avery and Luca's competitive nature, they decide to compete and make little bets and wagers. Their chemistry is off the charts. My thoroughly enjoyed this book. I think not a flaw, but I think one thing that I didn't really enjoy about this book is that there was a lot of talk about science and research and companies, and I guess the authors really want the readers to understand what's happening and why the characters are doing what they're doing, but it was just really heavy on the information part. Like, I'm just here for the romance, guys. Like, what's going on? But yeah, I found myself skimming those parts. I will say that this book is a little spicy, so there's that aspect to the book. Other than the info dumping that just kind of made it a little unenjoyable, but I did rate this book at 3.5 stars. It was enjoyable nonetheless. I really love how Avery and Luca navigate their relationship. I think that was so fun. I love the ending. Like I said, this is in a standalone series, so I wonder if like the characters in the next one have been mentioned in the first one, if that makes any sense at all. Hopefully that was coherent and understandable. You just don't know how many takes that took to recap the book. But anyways, next up is Just for the Summer by ABBY Jimenez. This book, guys, I was enjoying this. It was enjoyable, and the cover is like genuinely so pretty. I think this is like the prettiest book that I own. Judging the cover. I don't really judge a book by covers, but like this cover is really beautiful. So, and the story is beautiful, so I think the cover kind of reflects on what's on the inside. I definitely tabbed the heck out of this. I tried to match the colors of the tabs to the front, and I think it looks pretty cute. This book does have trigger warnings in the front, so definitely beware of that. It does talk about like mental health and like parenting or lack thereof. This book follows Justin and Emma. So Emma and Justin initially meet because they both believe that they have the same curse. And that curse is that every person they date finds their true love after they break up. So they're kind of like the pit stop to the soulmate. They get together in hopes of canceling out the curse. If they date each other, it would cancel out the curse. And after that, they would find their significant other afterwards. Emma's a traveling nurse, and Justin, I think, is like a software something. I don't know, but the two hit it off. Their relationship is so cute. Justin is just like the king of like quality time. Like he's just very thoughtful, and I really like how this is more than just a romance. Like this delves deep into like trauma and how your life can change so fast, and the two definitely go through it, but they push through and they, solve whatever they're going through together, which I really love. This book had me tearing up so many times because the dialogue is just so beautiful, and I really enjoyed this book. As you can see from the tabs, almost like every other page there's like notes and stuff underlined. This is a romance among other things. But yeah, Justin is just so present, and he's so there for her, and he's so understanding, as well as Emma. I just love it for them. Like they're each other's person, and it's just so beautiful. They have a beautiful love story, but if you want to get into this, definitely look at the trigger warning. So I think this is also in a standalone series. I recall character being brought up again. Now this is my first ABBY Jimenez book. I literally went to the back and looked at the reading group questions, and yeah, they said Neil came back. I don't know who Neil is. I don't know who Neil is, but apparently he's in one of the other books. So yeah. It's just fun. It's super fun and flirty and very wholesome at the same time, which is a great mixture of things. I unfortunately did not give it a 5-star, but it didn't really give me like the 5-star feeling, but it's definitely up there on the list. I would definitely recommend this to other people. So the last book that I read for the month of July was Beach Read by Emily Henry. I read this book digitally, so I don't have the physical copy, but someday I will get all of her books. I'm knocking down the Emily Henry books at a very fast rate. I think I only have Book Lovers and People We Meet on Vacation, which all of her books are being turned into like movies or TV shows, which is chef's kiss. Thank you so much. Alright, so Beach Read follows January. She just lost her father. She inherits the beach house that her father had with his mistress, I should say. So one summer she goes down there just trying to get rid of everything. January is also an author, and she's also having writer's block, and she's just going through it. I mean, she's going through a lot. She moves into the dad's house, and her next door neighbor just so happens to be her college rival, Augustus Everett, or Gus Everett. They're both writers. Gus also happens to be a writer as well. The two don't really get off on the right foot because of their history, but they soon end up liking each other, tolerating each other. So they're kind of like on the same boat with the writer's block. January writes like romance, rom-com books, and Gus writes fiction. So they make a bet to swap genres to see if they can do it, just to clear their writer's block. They spend so much time together, and maybe they end up falling for each other. I don't know. I don't know. You have to read to find out. Yeah, I really enjoyed this book, again, with the banter. The enemies to lovers banter is just gold. And the letters, I don't even know. The letters. If you've read Beach Read, the letters. Guys, the letters, they made me cry. With Beach Read, I think I read the UK version instead of the US version. Now, I didn't know that there were two genres, but I found that after the fact. And I think they both have two different endings. I liked the way that the UK version ended. It wasn't like predictable, but it was very, very sweet and wholesome. So if you've read the UK version, then you probably know what I'm talking about. But if you have not read the UK version, get your hands on that. It's great. I loved it. It had me in tears. Yeah, so I gave this book a 4 stars. I didn't really connect to the characters, and not that I have to connect to the characters, but it definitely amplifies my feelings about the book. So yeah, I gave this 4 stars. I did find it a little heavy on the research part, and also when writing the book part, like, because you do get snippets of January writing her book. You get to read what she's writing. I thought it was cute and definitely tension-filled. There's fireworks everywhere. I loved it. So yeah, 4 stars is my rating for it. On to my TBR list, my physical TBR list. We have 15 books ranging from 3 or 4 different genres. I'm just gonna go at them randomly. The first book on the list is They Both Die in the End by Adam Ailvera. This one was hyped up on Book Talk. That's why I bought it. I think They Both Die in the End. I don't know. I tried reading this book like maybe once or twice. Nothing really grabbed my attention, so I just kind of DNF'd it. Yeah, I will get to it at some point. The next one is The Housemaid by Frieda McFadden. This is a new author to me. So I think this follows a housemaid, and she works for the Winchesters. At the bottom in yellow, it says, "The Winchesters don't really know who I am. They don't know what I'm capable of," which, I mean, that sounds scary. Someone who's like constantly in your home and like probably knows a lot more about your family than you do. But I know this is a part of a trilogy, and I will get to it. I think this book, among a few other books, would be really great around like the fall spooky time, so definitely get my hands on this one when that time approaches. The next book is The Maid by Nita Prose, another maid. So this one follows Molly. I think she works in a 5-star hotel, and she stumbles upon a dead body, and she kind of gets intertwined with like the investigation and stuff, and I think they have her as a suspect or something. And basically I think this is like a murder mystery. She tries to find out who the killer is. There's like one line in red that I saw first thing when I picked up this book: "A dead body is one she can't clean up on her own." And I was like, oh, this must be good. I think this is also a part of like a series. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna read this. Definitely again towards the fall spooky time, because I mean, like, why not? Who doesn't want to read about murder mysteries in October? The next one is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Again, I tried reading this. Nothing really held my attention. Again, I think I have to pick it up at the right time. This book follows Pippa, or Pip. Is it Pip? I don't even know. This book follows Pippa. She, I think, is trying to solve a murder in her hometown, and I think this is also becoming a TV show or movie, which is fun, so I'll definitely watch that. Again, I'm gonna save this for when it gets like cold and spooky. The next one on the list is Holding Up the Universe. I'm actually like in the middle of it, believe it or not. I think this follows Libby and Jack, and okay, so I don't know if this is a romance, but definitely two people meet and they make an unlikely pair. I don't know if they fall in love, but I do think that they become friends. From what I remember of this book, they live 2 completely different lives. I think Libby, she's just very alone, but not by choice, and Jack, he's a guy who's friends with everyone, and he doesn't really let anyone in. So I think he lets Libby in. I think Libby does the same for Jack, so I think that's really interesting. One day I will get to it. Okay, next one is Everything Happens for a Reason and Other Lies I've Told by Kate Bowler. I genuinely don't know how I have this book. I might have bought it because I thought the cover was cute, and it is cute. I don't even know what this is about. I don't know if this is like like fiction or if this is like real life. I don't know, but I'll find out one day. Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. This one is a part of a series. Things We Never Got Over is from the Knock 'Em Out series, I believe. I think this is like a small town romance between Knox and Naomi. Fun fact, I did kind of read a little bit of this a while ago, but I think I stopped reading because I found the mailman character a little too grumpy. It might be a recurring thing with Lucy Score's characters, but it was a little too grumpy for me. But yeah, I'll definitely read this in the future. The next one on the list is Emma by Jane Austen. I picked this book up at the same time I picked up The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp. Yeah, right there on the shelf. I genuinely want to read all the classics. I think our classics right now is definitely works by Jane Austen, Emily Bronte, works like Pride and Prejudice, Wuthering Heights, and Sense and Sensibility, and Emma, those books. And I want to read those. So I have those here. I really want to read the classics. I have 2 of them here. When I read the summary of this, I was like, oh my god, why are we the same? Because there's this one line. She sees no need for marriage, but loves interfering in the romantic lives of others. Like, in the sense that I love hearing about other people's relationships and the tea going on between that. So I thought that was really funny. And then Pride and Prejudice, for obvious reasons. Next up is Alone with You in the Ether. I think this is like a love story. It says it on the front, a love story. But I think this is like this is a sad one. I have a feeling. So I have a video idea in mind where I would be able to get to read this book. I feel like this book would hurt me in the soul. Next book is Losing Hope by Colleen Hoover. I read Hopeless, which is the initial book in this series. I think this is just like the same thing but in the guy's point of view. I bought this actually a while ago. One day I'll have to reread Hopeless and then reread this one afterwards because they go together. Next up is Dating You, Hating You by Christina Lauren. Yeah, but I think this one is enemies to lovers in the workplace. It follows Carter and Evie. And I genuinely, I saw that it had like movie stuff around it and I was like, sold. I love talking about film and TV shows and behind the scenes stuff too. Like that I can talk about for hours on end. So when I saw these things, I was like, hey, yes. Sold. You have me. And it also happened to be by Christina Lauren as well. Christina Lauren wrote one of my favorite books ever, which is Love and Other Words. It's somewhere up on that shelf over there. Definitely will get into this. I do have a video idea in mind where I would get the chance to read this, so there we go. Next up is 13 Reasons Why. I really liked the show when it came out a couple years ago. Found out that it was a book, so I was like, hey, let me get the book. So I got the book. I watched the TV show, but is the TV show the same thing as the book? I'm sure in many ways, but a lot of the time when books get adapted into TV shows or movies, they kind of change a lot of things, so I just wanted to see if this was the same as a TV show. Next up is Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. I think this talks about mental health. I actually don't know how I got this book. I think this was gifted to me. This seems like a powerful story. I think this talks about like mental health and stuff, so definitely will get my hands on that. Oh my god, this doesn't fall. Okay. Next one is A Little Life. This one again popped up on Book Talk a lot. I got this so long ago. I'm so scared to read it because I've seen a lot of good reviews on it, but a lot of people say that it's like emotionally taxing. This is like what, 800 pages? This is almost 800 pages. And this is very intimidating to me. I don't know if I'm ready to read a book that just hurts you so much. I've just seen so many reactions and people are just like sobbing. I'm like, oh my god, that's fun, but also scary at the same time. I'm an empath, I feel so much already, so like imagine reading a book. I feel like that'll just send me into like overdrive. Definitely want to read this book somewhere in the near future. Want to see what the hype is about. My mom said that she wanted to read this book and well, she didn't, but it's here. It's always here if she needs it. Last but not least is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I can't get this stupid sticker off. I hear Sarah Caroli. She's like one of my favorite booktubers, if you don't know by now, but she raves about Magnolia Parks. I'm like, you know what, let me just see what the hype is about. So I bought it. I've seen like reading vlogs of Sarah reading this book and she's in tears. And I'm like, oh my god, like I'm nervous. I think it is a love story between two people, Magnolia and BJ Ballantyne. Oh my god, it's in London. He's a London boy, okay. We'll see where this goes. So that's it for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed me doing my little wrap up and for hearing me talk about the books on my TBR. This was so fun and I had so much fun talking about books. I love talking about books. Let me know if you've read these books. Give me your thoughts and emotions on them because I'm like scared to start some of them, as you've heard. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!